What's up, boys and girls? Man, it's your boy Outlaw V2 coming back for the first banger of 2022. I apologize for taking an extended leave of absence from YouTube videos. Man, once I get into the subject of this video today, I'll just discuss that briefly, like why I stopped doing videos for a while and why I took a little bit of time for myself, because it's all related to gear. If you like my videos, man, don't forget to hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit your notifications bell so that you find out when I'm posting these new videos. I will have new content up. I've met a lot of people through my YouTube page that are like good friends of mine, and it was a positive thing for me. I was just going through some stuff in my personal life that I will touch on and just get into like the side effects of testosterone, trenbolone, Masteron, pretty much all gear. So let's get into it. Okay, so first of all, I started using gear in 2014 when I was 40. I was about 165. I was doing a lot of jiu-jitsu competitions, and I had gotten out of the military, and I just was tired of being like, a smaller statured person. I just wanted to kind of bulk up a little bit. And again, I don't want to be a 210 or 220 pound monster. I don't want to squat 500 pounds, or I don't need to do all that. I go to the gym for aesthetics. I go to the gym for health. I do a lot of cardio. Like I'm a jiu-jitsu guy, so I use gear for just power to weight and being able to be 185 pounds and just be stronger than someone else who weighs 185 pounds. That's the only thing I use gear for, besides to just go to the beach and look good. I'm not the biggest dude. I know my bodybuilders watch my page, and I get it. Like, I'm not a bodybuilder. I'm just an athlete who uses gear, and I'm a TRT patient. So it kind of gives me the ability to raise and lower my test dose based on how I feel. So I've been on TRT, pretty much for 8 years now, from 2014 to 2022. 2014 was weird. I tried to come off, and I tried to PCT off my first cycle, and I didn't like how the PCT drugs, like specifically Clomid, I didn't like how it made me feel. So I just ended up getting back on testosterone, and then just stayed on for too long, and then had to make a decision on TRT. And I went through medical channels, and I got on doctor-assisted TRT. I have blood work done all the time to see where my testosterone and my estrogen are at specifically. I also look at my red blood cell count with my doctor. But being that I'm on TRT, I'm a blasting cruiser. So I'll do like maybe 1 to 2 cycles a year, really depending. I like 12 to 14 week cycles. I don't like to extend them into like 16 and 20. I pretty much do 12 to 14 week cycles. Usually like a summertime cycle, then like a wintertime cycle is just like a bulking cycle. I don't really do bulking cycles because I don't like to eat like large amounts of calories and get fat and then lose all the body weight. I pretty much try to maintain my body weight and my body fat percentage, just look in the mirror. So in 2015, my girlfriend moved from Florida to California to move in with me. And at first she didn't know about my gear use, which is something I just want to touch on for a second. If you have significant others and they don't know you are using gear, like a wife or a girlfriend or any of that, you're in the wrong. You need to let all your significant others, I mean, not your children or anything like that, but you need to let your significant others, that person that lives with you, you need to let that person know. Because gear, I don't care what anyone says, gear in a way makes you kind of fucking crazy. We're already narcissistic people if we're using gear. You're using compounds to look a certain way. You like people to look at you. You go to the gym. You spend hours in the gym because like that's just the way that fucking, if you're taking gear and you're not going to the gym, like the gym is going to be a big part of your life. So the people that are in your life, you need to let them know. So at first I didn't do that. I was lying to her. It caused a little friction in our relationship. Obviously, if you're dishonest to your partner, it's going to cause you some problems. But so first rule, let your loved ones know. So in 2015, late 2015, she moved in. My body was like peak performance. When I went to Florida to go pick her up, like I was fucking peeled. I was about 100 and I had gone from 165 pounds to about 172 pounds, but I was using Test, Trend, and Masteron, my TTM stack that I love to use, and I was fucking ripped up in Florida. I moved her from Fort Lauderdale, Miami area. It was hot as fuck out there, but I was like I was in the best shape of my life. Like I could take my shirt off. My girl was like, bro. So when she moved again, she didn't know I was using gear. But when she moved in with me in 2015, I think about maybe after like 7 or 8 months, she asked me about it, and I finally came clean. And again, it was a trust issue in our relationship, and it was something I shouldn't have done. It was something I still regret to this day. But I didn't tell her about it at first, and then she found out about it, confronted me, and then I let her know, like, yeah, that's what I'm doing. And my girl was a registered nurse. She was completely supportive. She just wasn't supportive of the lying, which she shouldn't have been. So all you guys out there, just be honest with your significant others. Be honest with your wife. Be honest with your girlfriend, man. They're there to support you. If one day you fucking keel over, one day you have a fucking heart attack, you want your loved ones and your girl or your wife to know what the fuck is going on with you. So when you get delivered to your local hospital, she can at least explain, like, hey, this guy takes trenbolone. If you're not able to tell the doctor. So just let your significant others know. Now, so I continue to cycle, and one thing about Tren, Test, and Masteron, well, actually just Test. The basis of all cycles is testosterone, and it always will be, and it's always going to be. So you need to use Test in all of your cycles as a base. So if you want to use Test, and you want to use it, you settle on, this is how much I'm going to take a week, and this is how much I'm going to take. I'm going to take this amount for a week, and I'm going to do it for 12 weeks or 14 weeks or 16 weeks. That's fine. But one thing you'd have to understand is that Tren, Test, and Masteron, or any advanced use of testosterone, is going to make you horny as fuck. All users of gear will let you know, like, bro, like, I've never been so fucking horny. Like, Jesus, man. Wow. It's because your testosterone, if you take roughly 500 milligrams of testosterone a week and you do that for 12 weeks, your test score should be somewhere around, I don't know, like 2,500. And the human body is only going to generate like 240 to like, I don't know what the max is, like 240 to like 960 or 240 to 980, somewhere in that area. If you're natural, you're going to be 240 to 980. You're not going to be 1,500. You shouldn't be like 100. If you're 100, you need to go to the doctor and get on TRT. But shout out to my boy Ben for his 126 fucking ppm test score. But again, those are people that really, really need to be on TRT because their endocrine system is not putting out enough testosterone to support feeling normal. Now, when you get on cycle, you are going to be insane about being horny and about having sex. So what was happening in my relationship, again, my girl is a registered nurse. She doesn't have a schedule where she can be like waking up in the middle of the night. Now, testosterone peaks when you sleep. So that's why you wake up in the morning and guys will wake up with a boner. You wake up with a hard on in the morning. It's because your test is peaked. And during your sleep, that test score is going to be the highest it's going to be anywhere through the day. So what I was finding is I would wake up in the middle of the night, like 2 a.m. to go take a piss. And I would be just horny as fuck. And I walk out of the bathroom, and who's laying there in my bed? My girl. But I wanted to wake her ass up and have sex at 2 a.m. And I kind of had enough. I know the person she is, and I know kind of like her work schedule. I can't wake this girl up at 2 a.m. and get some ass off her. Now, I'm not saying it never happened, but it wasn't. I was trying to get some ass at 2 a.m. on a consistent basis, like every fucking day. And that just isn't possible. So what I found is that I was kind of like resenting the fact that I didn't have a partner that I could do that. And I want to just tell you that that's the test. That's your test score talking. That's not, you shouldn't be resenting your girl just because you can't wake her up at 2 a.m. And get some ass. It just doesn't work like that. But so I found myself that I was a little bit resentful that I was like having to like masturbate, or at 2 a.m. I'm jerking off in the bathroom when I have a perfectly good girl that I can have sex with. But that's like such a selfish thing. Like that's what having a high test score, the side effects that people don't talk about is that you're going to prioritize sex, and you're going to prioritize attention from the opposite sex at a much higher level than you may have had you not been cycling. So for me, that was what kind of like, I guess, started the downfall of what would eventually happen, and the reason I ended up taking off a lot of time from this, from videos and from YouTube. And it was because, my girlfriend of 10 years left me. And like, she was the most important thing in my life at the time. She still, it still kills me to this day. Like, I destroyed a 10-year relationship because of not being able to prioritize things correctly, like caring too much about stuff that really doesn't matter. Sorry if I get like fucking choked up with the shit. I still really don't like to talk about it. This is the first video I'm really doing where I'm kind of sitting down and letting people know that this shit can destroy relationships. Gear is a relationship destroyer if you don't have a good plan, or you don't like establish some things beforehand. And I didn't do that. Now, so a little bit of, I guess it's a side point, but it's important to this specific discussion, because my girlfriend and I decided that we were going to be in an open relationship. And she decided this because she knew I'd always been a sexual person before this, and she's kind of like asexual. She's like, with sex, she's just kind of like, meh. Like, I could have it, but nah. Well, to me, I'm going to the gym and I'm doing all this working out, and my body looks really good and all this, and just sometimes guys don't see the female perspective of like, like, we think because we look good that means that girls are automatically going to want to jump in bed with us. And to a degree, that's correct if you're in a relationship where that's all that matters. Like, if you just meet some girl on Tinder and you're single and she wants to fuck and you want to fuck, and you have like a little FWB relationship, then that's fine. Those relationships will work just fine if they're shallow and they're just one-dimensional, like you're just fucking. But I was in a full-blown like relationship, like living with a partner who I loved. And unfortunately, the way our open relationship worked is I was just basically outside dating only for the specific purpose of like relieving those, basically getting those sexual requirements. But because I was resentful of my girlfriend not being able to wake her up at 2 a.m. and stuff like that, and like occasionally dating women that like seem to be the type like you can wake them up at 2 a.m. and fucking have sex, I just started to be resentful of being in my relationship. And I guess I started to like look like I was enjoying my activities outside my relationship more than I was enjoying the activities inside my relationship. So that was where like the static started in my relationship. So we're in an open relationship, so she didn't have an issue with me going out, but the problem is that I started to abuse the open relationship. I started being dishonest. I started doing fuckboy shit. Like, I just started, like, I had the girl who I was seeing like come over to my house, and where that wasn't part of the fucking open relationship deal. Like, my girl didn't want this broad in her bed. And I just stepped way outside the lines of the open relationship. I started being dishonest. I started lying, just doing dumb shit. And I'm not going to blame it all on steroids. It's not. You have to be able to control yourself at the end of the day. But a 2,500 test score, and your estrogen may be elevated, which makes you fucking mad emotional. So I'd find myself being like ultra needy with my girlfriend, but then ultra horny with girls outside my relationship. So it puts you in this mental state where you really don't give a fuck about like the damage that you're doing like in the now. You only care about like meeting your needs as they come up during the day. So over the course of like a few years, my girlfriend basically tried to deal with it, and I got caught, and obviously she was like fucking pissed. It just basically started the destruction, the process of the destruction of a 10-year relationship. That in 2021, my girlfriend moved out. She broke up with me and she moved out, and it just so now I'm on my own. And I had a girlfriend who was the most supportive person in my life. She was like, she loved me. She loved me more than anything. And I ruined it. And I ruined it because of my use of steroids. Because I wasn't prepared for the emotional load that comes with using steroids. Because when you quadruple your test score, you're gonna want sex like really fucking bad. And if you and your significant other don't have that worked out, you're gonna have problems. So when she left me in 2021, I freaked out emotionally. I was still on TRT. I had stopped cycling because I realized that if I took a big break, I think for about a year, I didn't cycle at all. I just stayed on my TRT. I kept a low dose of testosterone, just simply because I didn't want to. Trenbolone just kind of makes you fucking crazy, like in general, and I just wanted to take a break from it. So I took a break from YouTube videos just to kind of get my life in order and just learn how to be alone. But the sacrifice, I sacrificed the relationship. I had a girlfriend who made great money. She was just incredibly supportive, just an amazing person. And I blame it all on I blame it on gear use. I know at the end of the day I have to make good decisions, but again, the use of gear will just, your head will talk to you and it'll tell you that, oh, this is the best decision for you, Jason, when it's actuality it's not. So I took a break from gear use because I lost a loved one. I lost something that was like really important to me. And I just want to tell like all of the people that watch my YouTube videos, like, don't think that there's not a cost associated with using gear. It's known to be a relationship killer. Some people get aggressive. Some people get violent with their girlfriends, and I had some episodes here where me and my girlfriends would get in a fight and I would go fucking berserk. It could be my hormones, it could have been my estrogen, because estrogen's a bitch. Like your estrogen will crank up if you're not using a Arimidex or you're not on like an AI, and you let your estrogen just fucking go to the stratosphere. Like you're gonna be emotionally fucked up. Like, hormones control your emotions, and if you're playing with your hormones, which taking gear is playing with your hormones, expect that you're gonna act like a different person. So you need to just be really responsible with your use, and try to never put yourself in situations that are going to destroy things that really, really mean stuff to you in your life, like a loved one. So again, my girlfriend moved out in 2021, and just left me here alone, in a house where I had my children living with me for a little while. They're grown, so at the time they were in and out, living with me, then not, then living with me, then not. But at the time when my girlfriend left me, I went from pretty much having like almost 4 people in my house, to include myself, to having nobody and going to bed alone every night. And for someone on gear, it's an emotional toll. And that was why I stepped away from doing YouTube videos for a while. So like the main point of my video, the whole thing I've been talking about today, is that let your significant others know, and just be honest, and always be able to like confront your feelings, and never blame your partner for what the fuck that you're doing, not what she's doing, because she didn't do anything wrong to me. She never wronged me one day in her life, but I wronged her many a days, and many of those days that I wronged her, I was taking test, tren, whatever. I was taking gear injections. And I wasn't that. I don't think I was that person prior to that. You know, I think because when I first met my girl, she was everything to me. Like I was in a relationship that I was finally proud of, and it had taken me a while. I was in a bad marriage for 14 years. Before that, I've been married twice, and both marriages have I wouldn't say ended in tragedy. My second marriage, I was the mother of my children. I was with her for a long time, but I was only with her for like my kids, because I realized that I wasn't in a good relationship. It was a poisonous relationship from the start, but I stayed for my kids. And so with my new relationship with my girl, I was finally in a relationship that I was really super proud of. I was proud of her. You know, I had retired from the military, so I was like, you know, proud of myself for like going into like the second phase of my life, which is post-military. But it all came crashing down, and it happened. It happened over a long time, but today it seems like it happened in the blink of an eye, and I didn't get enough of an opportunity and a chance to really sit back and enjoy the relationship I was in. If you go back, my girl is in, I think, some of the videos that are on my YouTube page. I think my video from Hawaii when we were taking a vacation in October of like 2019, we went to Hawaii, and we got into an explosive argument in Hawaii. It basically ruined the whole trip. And I think that was that was the real start of like the true collapse of our relationship. So for anyone who's watching out there, again, just to summarize, man, always stay in control of yourself and always try to stay ahead of your emotions, regardless of like the gear you're taking, and always realize that this shit you're taking is real, and the feelings that you're going to have are real, and the motivations that you're going to have are real. Because if you're playing with hormones, you're playing with fire. So that's just a little, you know, video of just what happened to me and why I stepped away from YouTube. I'm coming back to it now. And I mean, I have a little bit, before I was just talking about the benefits of test and the benefits of tren. And granted, there are benefits. There are, you know, being on TRT, I usually feel great. I always have energy. I go to the gym pretty much every day, you know, like I would say at least 5 to 6 days a week. I train hard. It lets me not be a slave to the gym. Like I don't have to like, you know, I don't have to go to the gym 7 days a week for 2 hours a day to like maintain a certain body type that I want. But just always know that there's costs and repercussions. So I'm glad to be back. I hope everyone enjoyed the video, and don't forget, man, you can slide into the comments, let me know what you think. I always like, you know, personal stories from people message me a lot about, you know, a lot of times girlfriends will message me about like, you know, yeah, my boyfriend freaked out when he took this. I like all the messages, and I try to respond to as many as I can. So I apologize if I haven't got to all of them. Sometimes I've been overwhelmed. The last year I've just disappeared off the grid because I just wanted to step back from the YouTube page and step back away from cycling, and just to try to get my own life together. So, but again, I appreciate all the people I've met along the way. I'm glad to be back. I'm gonna do some. I'm gonna be doing some good videos on cycling, and just start to rebuild my life as a single man. So I appreciate all the comments, man, and looking forward to doing my next video. Holla at your boy.